motorcycle, and they were hockey players. They had everything to live for. One had his wife and two young kids, babies, and the other one, I believe, his wife was expecting a child. They were getting ready for their sister's wedding. This should have been an extremely happy day. Well, I'll get right to the point. How does God allow that to happen when they were just killed by a drunk? How do you go home and tell a mother and father who are preparing for their daughter's wedding, your two sons are dead? How? I don't know.
Yeah. So let me respond it this way. It's absolutely a very difficult situation, right? Thing, a time with deep grief and obviously, uh, but one thing that I think we all from the scriptures understand is that, and this is what we want our community to be, is that we don't believe in a God who gives permission for things, who makes allowances for things, right? We believe in a God who has given complete freedom to each and every one of us to act in ways that we do. And it is really sad when something like that happens, right? Through someone's actions or through whatever it may be, right? And so that is how at least I understand it, that it's not God who allows or does not allow, because if it was about God allowing or not allowing, we would be living in a perfect world. There would be no problem at all, because God would definitely not allow anything wrong to happen, right? But we are not living in a perfect world because we have freedom. And that makes us here, gathering here, all the more important, because we have been given the responsibility to follow what is the right way and to make this world in alignment with the desire of God. And I often say it is the same thing as when you have an adult child. You may not like what the adult child is doing, right? But as a parent, you grieve when something goes wrong because of the actions of that adult child. You grieve, but it's not in your control, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Parents of adult children, right? You just cannot do anything about it, but you grieve to the core that this should not. So I often, in times like this, I often remind people, think of the grief our God is going through. Imagine the grief that our God goes through when we mess up, right? Because this is a God who's so loving, so kind, loves all of us as children, and is absolutely grieving when things like that happen.